Welcome aboard, folks. I'm Stephen Malkowich, your captain on this adventure called Ship of Fools. I'm a fool. Lucky for you, I'm not sailing solo. Join me and a boatload of people, all just trying to make sense of this crazy world. It's a fabulous mess, and you're invited.
Okay. Jesse Johl, welcome one and all to our podcast called Ship of Fools, where wit meets wisdom. I would like to introduce to our audience a very good friend of mine, Jesse Johl. And Jesse is to put a little background, Jesse is a Vancouver boy, East Van boy who born and raised, grew up
right in East Van.
Right in East Van. But one of the thing that you've had a very, very interesting life. But one of the reasons that I wanted to have you on and to talk about was what you do in the community, okay, and specifically in relation to the East Lions Club of Vancouver, and because that's initially our initial introduction was via the political train, but you do some. It's inspiring what you do, and I'd like to tell you. I'd like our audience to hear, to begin with, a little bit. We could go way back, but I don't want to go way back. I want to talk about your East Vancouver roots a little bit and how it evolved into what you're doing with the Lions Club, and the distribution of food to those that are in need. So,
okay, born and raised in East Vancouver, in close to Queen Elizabeth Riley Park area. Was not the most high end or high class area when I was growing up. It was a bit rough, quite rough actually, and we always had different kind of characters in the neighborhood, but those characters actually probably had a bigger influence on me than most things in life, because they opened your eyes to different things and different ways of life and different, vocations. But one of the guys in the neighborhood is an older gentleman, and he was the guy who he was involved in the Masons and Lions Club and whatever, all these basically philanthropic avenues for kids and seniors. And he was the guy who pulled me aside and goes, "Hey kid, you should think about maybe doing something else. You got a gift of the gab. Maybe take some time and join Toastmasters, clean up your chat and maybe go in a different direction." And to be quite honest with you, a lot of the guys in the neighborhood were already going down the wrong path. We grew up in a neighborhood where a couple of guys became full patch, other guys joined Triad, and it was a different type of neighborhood, but everybody was respectful. Everybody had, even though guys went down the wrong path, everybody had a good moral compass.
it was a code.
Yeah, you help the old lady down the street, you shovel her walk, Miss Wong or whoever, it didn't matter, Miss Evans, you help everybody out because that's what you do. That's what a good neighbor does. So that's the way I grew up. And you know what? And my mom was always big on feeding people, like feeding other kids. Cause there were, even back in the day, not everybody nobody actually was rich, but nobody really went hungry other than the fact that everybody ate out of their gardens. So, if you went to, Mr. Tomei's house, the entire garage was just fucking jars of tomato sauce. And I think to this day, Sergio has like nightmares about that, like hates it, going to a Chinese house, these guys, it was always, the same thing over and over and over again. But that's what all these traditional families did. If I went to my buddy Darcy's house, Ukrainian guys, it was wintertime, borscht, halabji, the odd time you get pierogies, whatever. Yeah, and that's exactly it. So, people were used to that. And, when you grow up and you get a little bit older, you realize, hey, a lot of kids aren't really eating and a lot of seniors aren't really getting any help. And it kind of shocks you sometimes because you think to yourself, well, the way I grew up and the way the guys in the neighborhood grew up, everybody's got to be doing the same thing, looking after them, their parents or their neighbors, but it's not happening. It's not happening. And Angus Hay, who was a battalion chief, he was a battalion chief in Vancouver, was probably one of the most inspirational guys in terms of doing stuff with the Lions Club and helping people out. Angus never made a big deal of himself being a fireman or battalion chief. He always showed up, though. He never made excuses. If he could do something, he could do it. If he couldn't, he goes, I'll try. But that's kind of what he did. And so Angus said, hey, kid, join our Lions Club. And you know what? Don't listen to these other guys. You just keep going forward. Do what you think is right. And it's the old rule. As long as you're not hurting anyone, you're helping people, everybody will come along. And so, give an example. Angus was night blind. He was well into his 80s at the time, and just a down-to-earth guy, really down-to-earth guy. I guess he was in his late 70s at the time. Can't even remember. He was old. But Angus he was like the compass pointing true north, because he was always doing the right thing. And even when the other guys in the club didn't want to do it, he's like, no, we can't keep doing the same stuff for the last 30 years. Let's go in a new direction. Let's just see what the kid can do. So he was always encouraging me to keep going. So to that end, I ended up founding the Queen Elizabeth Lions Club, branch of the Lions International, and with the main mission being food security and food redistribution. And when we started, the guys were like, how the hell are we going to do this? So the first time I said to these guys, hey guys, let me just phone up a whole bunch of guys I know and see what they've got and see if we can get it out. Well, this thing caught fire. It caught fire and it became overwhelming. We weren't getting, one or two little things of groceries or whatever. We were getting pallets of stuff. It was insane. It was absolutely insane. And I thought, okay, I've got to get the other guys involved. So I started pulling all the guys up. Guys I went to school with, guys I work with, guys I knew just in general. Perfect example of that, Dave Sandu, who owns a winery in Richmond. Guys, first thing he said, he goes, you know what, if I didn't know you, I'd think, what's this Punjab up to? What kind of scam is he running?
Yeah.
And he goes, and he kind of didn't understand what the Lions were about. So I had to tell him, listen, it's the world's largest not-for-profit volunteer organization. We're in every city worldwide. And the whole, the motto is we serve. That's it. So, and Dave's family, they're pretty religious, Orthodox Sikh. And so he saw it as, hey, this kind of fits with what dad always taught, doing seva, which is selfless service. Well, that's exactly what the Lions do. And so he got on board. And then we started feeding all the migrant workers at his farm, at the other farms, guys who basically had nothing. We started helping all the guys out. And he couldn't believe how much food was coming in. And he goes, well, it's too much food. And I said, great. I go, you know some other farmers? And he's like, yeah. Started handing out food. And people started asking him, like, hey, what's the catch? What's the catch? Because nobody, especially nowadays, people, the number one thing we always get is, okay, how much is it? Or if you tell them it's free, they don't want it. But if you tell them it's $5, they quickly pull out their wallet. It's the craziest thing. And we always tell them, no, it's free and we're just here to help. That's it. And take it if you want, don't take it if you don't want. But Dave got on board. And Dave got on board in a big way. And so he does a ton of families, ton of people. And he even he'll drive stuff out to Abbotsford. He's amazing. Then we got Brad Newell, King of Floors. So Brad got on board. And Brad was exactly the same thing as Dave. Brad,
what's going on here?
Yeah, well,
what's the catch?
I walk in and Brad's like, oh, hey, Jess. And then all his staff are like, okay, what's this guy up to? What's the scam? Like, is he going to want flooring? Like, he's like,
What's the catch?
What's the catch? Who's giving away cheese? Nobody gives away cheese. And now Brad's like one of the biggest supporters. He's like one of the pillars in the club because he's like on it. He lets us use his dock, the forklifts, and we drop off stuff all the time there. And Brad probably supports about 100 families. It's incredible. Tyler Heppel from Heppel Potatoes, the family, totally on board, helps out all the time. Again, same kind of thing. Once they realize, hey, all I'm doing is basically facilitating the movement of food away from the dump and the bin to people in need.
And we're not talking, and I want to clarify things here. We're not talking about rotten food.
Oh, no.
We're talking like it's shocking. And I'm just going to use one example. 2 tons of frozen ground beef. Now, in my life, we had a chest freezer. Okay. And we lived out of the chest freezer. That's what we did. Now, frozen meat, like you could say freezer burn. What is that? And I'm not saying that facetiously. I mean that. So I've never heard of frozen ground beef going bad, ever. And now, yes, I grew up on the prairies where there were cattle, but I never heard of that in my life. And so when you tell me and say, well, we got like 4 tons of frozen ground, what?
It's shocking. It's absolutely insane. But we have taken crab, ground beef, turkeys. Thanksgiving's coming up, Christmas is coming up. We got, one time a guy goes, hey, we're going to throw out these turkeys, 150 turkeys, frozen, butterball turkeys, all these different, free range turkeys, frozen. And I'm going, okay. He goes, can you take them? I go, sure, I'll take them. How many you got? And then going from 10 to 50. Oh, well, we got 150. He goes, I didn't tell you because I was scared that you wouldn't come. We took them all and we drove around. The biggest difference between us and the food bank, one, we're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. That's the big one. Nobody gets paid. Number 2, we'll drive the food to where it needs to go. We don't care. A perfect example is the Japanese seniors. This is actually funny. The first time I showed up to the Japanese seniors, I'd been turned on by Mei Hamanashi, lovely woman from Marpole Lines, said, hey, Jess, you know what? The Japanese seniors down here on 8th, and there's the Nikkei Center over in Burnaby. If you're able to help, they're more than willing to take it. And I said, okay, great. I get a lot of seafood. So, so I showed up with a 5-ton truck, and they're like, oh, I think we didn't order anything. And I said, no, this is a Lions Club. We're dropping this off for free. And the lady was like, what? She couldn't even believe we were giving it to her for free. And it's, double vacuum sealed, whatever. And they're throwing it away because it's either short dated or somebody's stamped the pallet with a date. The date's irrelevant. Like, I always tell people, how long do you think your bacon or your chicken or whatever has been frozen in the freezer somewhere? I know people who've got stuff in their chest freezer. It's been in there for like years. They pull it out, cook it up and eat it, and this happens all the time. But for some reason, they see a date on something and they're like, oh, a date. Oh, it can't be good anymore. Throw it in the garbage. Well, that mentality has spread through industry. And it was a quote freshness policy, but it's a way to increase turnover. So you see it with fruit, you see it with veg, you see it with seafood, meat. And last year, about 60, 70 of us,
I've seen it. I've seen it. And I don't understand. Green bananas don't go bad. They haven't ripened yet.
We just picked up 12 cases of green bananas, and they were misdelivered. But the company says we don't want them back, and the company who received them can't sell them because it's not their product, which is, again, a crazy. So I pick up green bananas, and I drop them off this elementary school, drop them off the high school. We help out with breakfast, lunch programs. We help out with the after school programs for the preschool, daycare, whatever. Bananas. How do you go wrong with bananas? And so he goes, yeah, if you take them, great. If not, we got to throw them in the bin. We're not allowed to sell them. And you're like, you sit there and you think to yourself, this would never happen growing up. Mm-hmm. Never.
Yeah.
Like, somebody in the neighborhood had too much food.
That's right. You froze the bananas and you did whatever the hell you did with it, but because there was no.
Or you walked down the street and knocked on your neighbor's door and said, hey, I got bananas. I'll give you some.
Yeah.
And
I got many tomatoes.
Yeah. 20 tomatoes, or I got some zucchini. Oh, zucchini was the bane of my life, bro. Tomatoes and zucchinis. Everybody's giving them to you.
Yeah.
But you think to yourself, with so many people hurting these days, they're living the pretend life. They don't want to let anyone know that they're actually hurting. This food is destined for the dump. And we don't pick up, we probably get maybe 5% of all the food that's going to the dump. Well, probably even less than that, for God's sakes. But last year, the guys, all our club alone, just us, with no government funding or help. We did $6.1 million worth of food and drink. And, all this is actually tracked by a third party. So a third party watches, records it all. Thank God for them, because the guys are horrible at this. But they record it all, and they tell us how much we've done every month, every year. 6.1 million, 1-point-something million meals. And that was in 1 year. And we've been doing this now for I don't know how many years.
How many years have you been?
Well, going on 20, 25 years. I started when I was like way back, in high school kind of thing, and kept going. It wasn't as prominent as it is now because, I've been kind of lucky in life. I've got a smoking hot wife. Kids are like, look like they belong in the, one of these American Eagle books, magazines or something. I got lucky. Kids are good. The wife is good. And she's always giving me shit. I'll be honest here. She's like, what the hell you doing? Like, why, like, especially when it's like crazy loads, like, we get like bocconcini or something, right? And they're like, and it's kind of funny because you go down to the Italians and you're like, hey ladies, mama, would you, have some bocconcini? It's free. Bocconcini?
Yeah.
Free? It's kind of funny watching the reactions.
Well, when you see this, and I'll speak from personal experience, when I became aware of this some time ago, when you see it, it makes you physically ill. When you see the waste, and that's like, then it's actually sickening, because we don't have a shortage of anything, and what ends up happening is we would rather throw it in the garbage than first of all, lower the price, maybe, or pass it on to some.
Vendors will never lower the price.
Yeah, because
they're not allowed to. They've got to maintain the price because they've got shareholders or whoever they've got to report to. So they're not allowed to lower the price, number one. Number two, everything's stamped now. And they're like, oh, it's short dated. We can't, the travel time between warehouse to receiving to out to the different stores, not enough time, dump it. The crazy thing is that stuff is, some of it's hermetically sealed.
Yeah.
And it's like, Tetra packed to hell.
With all the air sucked out of it.
Yeah.
So,
and it'll last forever.
Yeah.
And they're, the first thing is throw in the garbage.
Well, I like, and maybe we can check this out, but does coffee go bad? That's a legitimate. Is that not like a legitimate question?
You're gonna laugh. We just got a whole bunch of coffee that was misplaced in the warehouse. Actually, I'll tell you about the one first from last year. It was last year, 2 years ago. We had I won't say which company it was. 16 pallets of coffee. 16 pallets of coffee were given to us. Each pallet probably worth about $20,000. And it was a high-end coffee, and it was all misstamped. So when processing it, they stamped it with the wrong date, saying that it was expired on September 1st or something crazy, but it had been packaged in April. So they were like, we got to throw this out. We can't sell it. We can't sell it because of the date on it. And so they phoned us up. Hey, can you take it? I go, yeah, I'll take it. Well, how much can you take? I'll take it all. We'll take it all. Lions Club will take it. We'll give it to the churches. We'll send it up to the men's shed. There's so many organizations out there, Stephen, that they don't give a damn about the date. They don't care because they're not getting anything anyways. Mm-hmm. The men's shed is a perfect example. A guy named Brian Fair up from the bid group, he set up the very first one in Vanderhoof.
What is the men's shed?
The men's shed is, and this is actually a great organization. This is the other thing that I said the food and the Lions Club has actually opened my eyes to. All these other organizations like the men's shed that are doing amazing work that don't get any real recognition. So Brian sets up this thing, men's shed. And all it is literally a shed, a building set up for guys who've lost their wives and they have no family around and they need purpose in their life. So a lot of these guys are welders, contractors, construction, concrete, whatever the hell they do, electronics. So all these guys get together every week, maybe sometimes every day. They got nothing else going on. But the good thing is they're meeting other guys in the exact same situation. And the problem with men is they don't really have that. Women have it. Women have their little groups and everything else. Men don't really have anything like that. So the men's shed allows these guys to get together, mess around, tinker around with different things. And then they go out into the community and help. A senior needs a new faucet. They need a new ramp built. These guys will do that. A lot of these guys will build toys, Christmas toys, whatever. Help the handicapped, the blind, the elderly, the infirm. And those guys get almost no credit
Well, I'd never heard of them.
You know what? And this is the whole thing. You never hear of these guys. Men's Shed is amazing. So we'll give them whatever they want. We don't care because we know it's going to a good group of guys. And it doesn't have to be guys, women too. You know, we help the Madonna House, but there's so many organizations like this that are kind of go under the radar. They're not flashy. It's not Children's Hospital. It's not Covenant House. It's not,
not McDonald House.
Yeah, it's Ronald McDonald House. I love. They actually do a good job. They run, you know what, run it like a business, which is amazing. But it's so much. We spend so much time and money raising money for organizations, and we don't know where the money goes. And one of our biggest successes with the food has been, you know, like Brad Newell, King of Floors, says to me, he goes, "No, Jess, when you came in here, I thought you were mental. I thought you were crazy talking all this nonsense. One, you're not taking any money. Two, everyone's a volunteer. Three, we're not going to sell the food. We're just giving it away for free. Like, how the hell is this going to work?" He's now feeding like 100 families a week. But he said, it's the most rewarding thing I've done. And he goes, you get to see the end result of your work. You know, people, you're handing out cereal to kids, or, you know, we had Main Island Food Bank ran out of food. So the guy phones up one of the Lions clubs. That Lions club phones us up and says, "Hey, you guys got to help these guys. They're out of food. They have nothing." So this guy spends, I don't know how many umpteen hours, getting up at 4 a.m, 3 a.m to get a truck, to take the ferry, to come across, to drive out to King of Floors out in South Surrey. And we loaded up his van. Like, I mean, right to the roof. This guy's blown away, filled it up with meat, produce, you name it. He goes back and people they're in shock. And he can't believe it. But the crazier thing is, when he asked the other food banks, they're like, "Oh, you're outside of our zone. You're outside of our district." The food bank has turned into a business. And, you know, to be quite frank, I don't understand it. If you're there to help people, you're help to get people food, then give them food. What the hell are you doing? Well, we don't take this. We don't take that. That's not a healthy choice. It doesn't matter. You know, we take everything. Like chips, like we don't even care. We had, you know, one of the Starbucks one time threw out all their patio furniture, or they're replacing it, whatever the hell they were doing. We gave it to one of the guys. I think it was Terry. He owned a body shop, sandblasted it, repainted it, and we donated it to a senior center. But all that kind of stuff happens all the time because we don't say no. And that's the biggest problem with society today. Everything's a no, can't do this, can't do that. My thing is, yeah, we're going to do it. And I don't really give a damn. You know, people say, well, is it legal to do this? Well, the Good Samaritan Act covers you. You know, the Good Samaritan Act covers all not-for-profit organizations who aren't selling anything. So we get it our rule is simple. We get it for free. We give it for free. End of story. We're not asking for anything. We don't ask for donations. We don't promote the club. We're actually really bad at promoting clubs, to be honest with you. We don't post pictures. We barely do a newsletter, but we try. But we did get some good news recently. Starbucks Canada contacted us, and they want to recognize our work for getting their food out and everything else and repurposing it. And so they're actually, they're going to do some news release or something.
Nice.
Yeah, it just happened yesterday out of the blue. So, or I guess it was Friday.
Make sure you pass that on.
I'll pass it on to you.
Pass it on to you. But so all of the food and the products that you get, it's just like the question I'm asking is how it evolved. It started from 25, 30 years ago, but the contacts that you have at these locations, at these pick a spot, the Safeway or wherever the heck it is, or the Versa Foods frozen storage or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Like how did you make, like, you just make a phone call and say, "Hey guys, you got anything?" Or do they reach out to you because they know what you're doing?
You know what? 90% of them have no clue what we're doing.
Okay.
And a lot of it is going to school with guys, and they're in different regional directors. They're on the board, whatever, regional managers, or they're head of logistics. That helped a lot. But that also opened door to other places like Lineage, which is the old Versa Cold. They've actually got a program which matches our mandate, Lions Club mandate. And, I'm make it clear, this is not my day job. This is not what I do for a living. This is strictly spare time. We get this done. We kind of coordinate it. and get the food out. They'll give us pallets and pallets of food that other groups can't take or don't have the logistics to take. Diamond Delivery's been awesome. Carl over at Diamond Delivery, he's like, yep, tell us what we need to do, what we need to pick up. The guy's picked up, I don't know how many hundreds of pallets over the years. Well, probably thousands now, but no charge because, and he's also in the club, but it helps. You get these guys in and, okay, we need to take this over here, this over there. It's huge. It's huge because otherwise that food goes straight in the garbage. We're helping the warehouse because they don't have to pay for disposal, dumping fees, etc. But we also end up helping the community. Like we just started the open fridge breakfast lunch program with Delta Secondary in Ladner. Principal there, Rick Messick, amazing. Another amazing guy. Grew up in East Van. Man, he cares about the kids. He's like, whatever you can get us. So we'll end up getting baking. He took some baking supplies. He took, candy, all this kind of stuff the kids are going to eat anyways. And he's like, yeah, here's chips, whatever, kids. You got something going on? Okay, I'll supply this. And he makes a phone call and we get it out to him. These guys are dumping it. And this is right across the board, like Sobeys. So the warehouse calls us up and says, Jess, can Lions Club take it? I'm like, sure. How long has it been there? She goes, God, it just came in. We're gassing it. I guess it didn't gas properly. Can you take them all? We took them all 16 pallets, got them out to every corner of the Lower Mainland. And it's not just Surrey or Delta or Vancouver. We'll send stuff to Pemberton, the Gulf Islands, Agassiz, Pitt Meadows.
And this is all done by volunteers.
100% volunteer driven. Nobody is paid. And a lot of it is we don't even, like most of the guys don't know how to apply for a grant. Wish they did, but they don't.
Yeah.
We tried to get a web page up for years. We finally got one up and nobody updates it.
Yeah.
So it makes me crazy. But there's a lot of stuff we do on a daily basis or weekly basis that gets no coverage, but it's putting food on the table for a lot of people. And that to me is probably the most rewarding thing. And
so are there, ask this question and like, cause the Lions Club, my father belonged to the Lions Club, but I can't, I don't know how, I was very young. But that it was just like a service organization, like the Rotary Club, but are there, like your Lions Club is East Van Lions, right?
Queen Elizabeth
Lions Club. Okay. Now, is there a Lions Club in White Rock, South Surrey?
Yep. Every city you go to, there is
a Lions Club
in the world.
Okay.
You can go to any city in the world and even like suburb and there's a Lions Club. There's, I don't know how many. I think there's probably about a couple dozen just in the Lower Mainland, Vancouver, Richmond.
Are they all active?
A lot of the guys are older and, the Lions, Rotary, Masons, Kiwanis, Oddfellows, Elks, all these guys, they used to be super active. A lot of them were veterans, either Second World War, Korean War, Vietnam, whatever. And so these guys had a lot of skills and they wanted to make the world a better place. And this was their way of doing it. But the problem is, from the 60s to 70s, kids didn't want to do what their dads did. They didn't want to be part of the establishment. And it kind of died off a little bit. In the 80s, it really hit rock bottom. And then it started coming back in the late 80s, 90s. People started going, okay, you know what? Rotary's doing good stuff. Lions are doing good stuff. Masons are doing good stuff. And so it's coming back, not as probably as much as it should, but it's coming back. When I tell people Lions Club, people, BC Lions? I'm like, kind of not.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's the ability to actually go anywhere in the world with stuff, and we've been offered like crazy things. All the PPE stuff from the pandemic. We had a warehouse, probably 10,000 skids. And if anybody listening or watching this later on, a skid is basically a pallet, 4x4 pallet, stacked about 5 feet tall. And now imagine 10,000 of those of PPE stuff. So everything from bed sheets to masks to shields to syringes to IV bags. Every single thing you'd probably need to run a hospital, surgical gloves, you name it. And that was offered to us for free if we could take it. And
they were just like, who they're just going to throw it away?
it all went to the dump. It all went to the dump. And this happened right across the country and across the US, because everything has a date on it, which is the most insane thing. So surgical gloves that, the doctors put on one at a time. I showed a couple of guys, buddies who are doctors, and they're like, man, where'd you get this stuff from? It's brand new. And I'm like, yeah. And I said, they're throwing it out because the date. He goes, oh, the date. If you use the stuff, something happens. They go, our insurance won't cover us. And I said, this is crazy. But I go, this is plastic. He goes, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's plastic or it's cotton, syringe. It doesn't matter. He goes, anything happens, they can point to the one thing which will avoid your insurance for basically having something that's past a best before, quote unquote. So 10,000 pallets just in BC alone, Lower Mainland, went to the landfill. And I don't know which landfill they ended up going to, Cache Creek or where the hell they went, but it was nuts. And, if I showed you the pictures of it, people are like, why does that have a best before date on it? And this is the question that everybody should be asking. Why the hell do the things have, why does a water bottle have a best before date on it?
I've never seen water go bad.
Oh, have you ever, you know what? Have you
sealed water?
Sealed water. And you know what? A can of beans.
Mm-hmm. No, it's true.
Growing up, I remember seeing a can of beans that was, I don't know how old it was.
There was no such thing.
No such thing as a can of beans going bad. Or pickles. Mm-hmm. You know what? We, a little while ago, we, I think, got 16 pallets of pickles.
Pickles.
Oh, if you told the Ukrainians,
I'm Ukrainian. There's no such thing.
There's no such thing as a bad.
There's no such thing.
So if the pickle jar was opened, okay, the pickle goes bad. Yeah. But how the hell do pickles go bad? Olives, pickle, this is nuts. So we took it all. We, take it to the church or here, whoever wants it can have it for free. And people are just shocked. They're like, well, what do you mean it's free? I mean, it's free. And if you can use it, take it. He goes, well, I can only use this much. Great. Take a whole flat, give the other half to your neighbor. Find somebody, talk to your neighbors, give it to them. And this is the other thing we do. People say, well, I don't need so much. And I said, well, you know what? Take it. There's got to be somebody in your neighborhood, somebody at work. Help them out.
Yeah.
And people, I like to give to the working poor. Mm-hmm. And people say, well, what the hell's a working poor? We're surrounded by them. There are literally thousands of people we pass every day, hundreds, thousands of people we pass every day. They're the working poor. They're the ones who have a job. They're making, decent money, but they can barely make ends meet.
Well, you go to the grocery store and for $100, you can carry it out with one hand.
Oh,
it's ridiculous. It's
criminal.
It is criminal.
It's criminal.
It's criminal.
It's criminal. When did going grocery shopping mean that you had to forego some other bill? Mm-hmm. Okay, I can't, I got not so much gas. I can't fill up on gas today or something. We're living in an insane world. It makes no sense to me. And then, we always talk, I always hear politicians talk about, this, we're living in the greenest economy. It's all horseshit. It's all horseshit. When growing up, and you probably had this too, Steve, I grew up in Vancouver, East Van. Every single neighbor, didn't matter where they were from, had a garden, had fruit trees.
Yes.
Every single one of them. The city was 10 times greener, 10 times greener, 10 times healthier. I think in all my grades growing up, we have maybe one or two guys who were they were considered fat, mm-hmm. but they weren't crazy fat. You look now.
Yeah.
And it's insane.
We're consuming a lot of processed stuff.
Everything's processed. Nobody's got a garden in the backyard.
Yeah.
Nobody goes outside. I remember, end of summer, beginning of fall, you pick all the fruit, pick all the plums, pick all the apples, pick all the pears. Okay, go around the neighborhood, hand out pears to the neighbors, whatever. Take them up to people, whoever could use them. Mm-hmm. Take it to the church. Maybe they can hand it out to the congregation. Now, forget it. Nobody wants to talk to each other, number one. Everyone's scared shitless to, they might, this, I might get in trouble for doing this or that. Mm-hmm. It's insane. Mm-hmm. But you know what? The number of people we've had, call us back or almost crying in tears. You know what?
That gets to the human impact that you're making, the human impact that you're making on there's when you do a good deed, it makes you feel good. Like I would just tell this brief story because I will never, when somebody's outside of the Save On Foods or Safeway, if I walk in and they're, obviously they're down on their luck, I can tell. And what I will usually do is buy a couple sandwiches.
Yep.
And whatever. And I'll give you some food. Okay. And this is probably, I'm going to say, not in the recent history. It was probably over a year ago or so. And I still do that. But it was at Save On Foods, and this guy was in rough shape, like really rough shape. And I pull up, and he's lobbing there. It's like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, nice sunny day, and he's just tattered and torn. So I go in and I buy my stuff, and I buy a couple of sandwiches. I come out, I can't find the guy. So I'm pissed. So I'm pissed off. So I get in my vehicle and
start driving in circles.
So I'm driving in circles, and I'm like, "Where's this help from?" And then I'm in the middle of the parking lot. I see him staggering, and I slam the brakes on. And you know what is that exactly what I ran out? And here, take us right now. And I'm pissed off, and I get back into my vehicle, and I'm like, "Boy, that was people." And I look around.
Maybe you think you would.
But I look around, and people are staring at me. And I go, here I am. I got to catch myself here. Like, that was stupid. But I was upset because I was trying to do something good and it didn't work out for me. Poor me, but I did. And then I'm mad at myself. But the thing is, the fact of the matter is that when you do something, that's called paying it forward, whatever you want to call it. You do something good, and it's not what you do when people are looking. It's what you do when they're not looking. And are you doing good stuff? And the human impact that this food makes, it's staggering. It's staggering. It is.
It honestly is. And you know what? And I'll be frank with you, we stopped going downtown east side. A lot of guys want to go downtown east side. Oh, we got to help. We got to help. We got to help. I go, guys, you don't have to go far. Just go down your neighborhood, knock on the neighbor's door, talk to your neighbors. There's people struggling in your own neighborhood. People think, oh, Kerrisdale, it's so rich, it's this, and then people don't need anything. Do you know how many seniors are struggling over there with property taxes, utilities, heating their house? It's nuts. And, and when we hand out the food, they're like, oh, I can't believe you're giving this away for free.
Mm-hmm.
And we just don't help one group. We help everybody. We help the Chinese seniors, Japanese seniors, Ukrainian seniors, the Lutherans. We don't care. If you need help, we help. But back to your thing about helping the guy in the parking lot. So one of the guys goes, hey, let's go downtown. Let's go help. We'll go down to Oppenheimer Park or whatever, one of the parks. Thanks. And I'm thinking, okay, let's go to Needle Alley and help out. And you know what? I'm an East Van guy. This stuff doesn't bother me. Doesn't faze me. Doesn't, not scared. So, and I go, guys, we'll keep it simple. This is your first time out. We'll just make some peanut butter jelly sandwiches, put a thing of socks in a Ziploc bag, sandwich in another Ziploc bag, and put it in a brown paper bag, and with the little juice box, we'll hand it out. Something simple.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, yeah, we'll make a difference, because everyone wants to feel like they're doing something. So I said, the socks are good, peanut butter jelly sandwich, so we're handing it out. So everyone's grabbing it, it's good. And then one guy, he grabs the bag, and I got no tolerance for this stuff, so this is my disclaimer. He opens it up, he takes a bite, and throws it down, and goes, this is shit. This is peanut butter and jelly sandwich. There's no meat in this. He goes, this is shit. And I'm like, the horns came out, and I'm like, and I go, listen, asshole, you better pick that up off the grass, or I'm going to plant my foot in your ass. And he's like, and I go, I don't care. And he goes, oh, well, you're giving this. I go, listen, we're not from the Sisters of Goodwill. We're from East Van trying to help you.
Your steak's overcooked. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but he was pissed off that it was a peanut butter jelly sandwich thing. And all the guys who were there to help were like, well, why is he mad? Isn't he hungry? And I'm like, obviously not hungry
enough. Yeah.
But, he'll take the socks and you take the juice box, but
not the peanut butter and jelly
peanut
sandwich.
Butter and jelly sandwich. I used to love peanut butter jelly sandwiches.
Yeah.
Loved them.
Well, yeah. We've talked about over the last, our relationship, the various things that the food things that we used to love, like taking salted crackers and throwing a bunch of cheese and throwing it in the microwave.
Oh yeah, the poor man's pizza.
The poor man's pizza. You damn right. I get laughed at it, but
Yeah, but the kids today, they have no idea.
You want pizza? We got some crackers. You got some cheese.
Just spaghetti and ketchup.
Yeah, that's right.
Ham spaghetti.
That's right. That's exactly.
That's what we got, kids.
So like now we talked a little bit about the human impact, and that's it's massive. And you said that you have a third party tracking how much food you're giving. Like every year, what do you?
We're already over $3 million. And we're like, it's just, I can give you a couple of numbers.
It's in the millions of dollars, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, and it sometimes it shocks us. Like we're all sitting there. So yeah, we're at we're over $3 million of food given away. This year's been a slow year compared to last year.
Mm.
Usually picks up in the fall. Weight rescued, a couple of 100,000, I guess, kilograms. Meals rescued, 400,000. Greenhouse gases averted. It's almost 1 million. It's over $1 million. And then they added another one, liters of water saved. So this is all the water from juices or whatever. It says 275 million liters of water saved. Like when you look at those numbers, you're thinking, come on, that can't be real. Mm. And then you start thinking about it. Well, we did pick up that, those 10 pallets of this or
of juice or whatever it might be, or
15 bottles of bananas.
Yeah, but yeah.
You realize it adds up quickly. But back to the whole, getting the guys all together. The other thing that this has actually opened my eyes to is how many guys are doing good work when nobody's watching. Like a good friend of mine, Darcy Marchenko, he does bird sanctuary and pet sanctuary for the cats and dogs, does fundraisers. So we help out with that. Brad Newell, most people don't know this, had founded the men's mental health. Mm-hmm. Heads up guys, helps men all over the world with mental health issues, suicide prevention, or just someone to talk to. It's amazing how much work these guys are doing. Brian Fair started the men's shed. There's actually a men's shed out in Pitt Meadows, another one here in South Surrey, White Rock. But there's so many things like that. Another one of our friends, Manny Sobral, teaches kids to box for free. Does downtown East Side, gets no pay, nothing, just helping the kids get off the street, learn to box. Ray Goldenchild, you want to play soccer? Come over here. I'll get you the shoes and the jersey. Come play soccer. Unsung heroes everywhere. They're unsung heroes everywhere. And actually, I'm going to take a box of bananas and Gatorade to the boys tonight at, I think 8:00. He wants me to be there at the field. Mm-hmm. But this is the kind of thing. It opens your eyes to all these other guys. And so the network grows, it gets stronger, and everybody helps everybody.
Volunteerism across the region, though, and I say across the country, are you seeing a pickup? Or is it just like what you're doing with your club? It's not just your club. There's many facets to it. That's right. But are you seeing? How does the message penetrate out down to the younger generations to understand that you should volunteer, that you should? It's even like it's permeated sports too, in the fact that there was always an expectation that if I talk about my own personal experience, you give back. Like I grew up. My father coached hockey when I was a baby. Like he didn't coach his own son. He was coaching hockey like little kids, giving back. He was always that guy. And be it the Lions, be it the Rotary, be it the Knights of Columbus, whatever the hell, we're Catholic, but so that was ingrained in me. So I didn't start coaching hockey until my son was actually playing hockey, but I thought about it. But now I think everybody is. How do you go about getting that message out to the community, to the younger individuals, that sense, that feeling that you have it's actually indescribable because you don't know it until you have it when you've done something good. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean, because when I started the whole thing, everyone's like, well, how much money do I have to give? Or I don't have time. Most of the guys I talk, that help out and I talk to are guys who are super busy. They're super busy. They're successful. They don't have time. They're flying in and out of the country, whatever. Believe it or not, those are the guys who are more jacked up about helping out than just the regular guy who actually has a ton of time. You know what? And how do you get the kids? You actually go talk to them. One of the guys, Jimmy Crescenzo, does the East Vancouver Boys Club. Jimmy, you know what? I hooked up with Jimmy. Go, Jimmy, I want to help out. I'll help out with the kids, mentor the kids, whatever. We were doing East Vancouver, Delta, and we go and talk to the kids. Well, the kids still contact us. They still, hey, you know what? Looking for this or that. And it starts with a bag of chips, pop candy, whatever the hell it is. But the kids start coming, and then they get more comfortable. And one of the rules with Boys Club, whatever you say at Boys Club stays at Boys Club. And it's an unwritten rule. And young men need mentorship. They need direction. And a lot of these kids have now realized, like, hey, I want to help. I want to do something different. A couple of the kids have seen me. A couple of Chinese kids from East Vancouver saw me handing out dim sum to the Chinese seniors.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, hey, he goes, Mr. Johl. He goes, what are you doing? I go, I got 9 pallets of dim sum. I'm going to be handing it out to the Chinese seniors. He goes, what? So the kid's watching me and he goes, hey, my mom buys that stuff. And I said, well, I go, if there's any left over, I go, you're more than welcome to take some, but I go, we got to take care of the seniors first. So he goes, oh, I'll help you. Okay. Cause he speaks Chinese, whatever. So we're out there handing it out. And this kid's like, oh my God, I thought you just brought chips and, pop to us. And I said, no, we do a lot of different things. We do this, we do tree planting, GNFK, Grunonics Free Kitchen. They're down in the downtown east side every week. They're doing tree planting. They do, all these other things, Mother's Day thing and, for the shelters, etc. And I'm like, yeah, let's help. I don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's, we're all trying to make a difference. And one of the guys, Indy Panchy, nicest guy you'll ever meet, never wants to take the spotlight. Hard to get him on a microphone, but he's one of the guys who gets everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
Rick Messick, principal of Delta Secondary. Rick gets the kids involved.
Mm-hmm.
He's like,
and when they see it,
because when they see it, they're like, I dropped off a pallet of Joe Louis and these like cake things, Hostess cake things. Mike at Canada Bread was like, hey, I got this stuff. Can you interested? I go, sure. Let me see if I can give some here and some over to the other school. And we spread it out. We don't give it all to one place. The kids are like, hey, mister, this is free. And I'm like, yeah, this is free. You can take it. And I go, but take one, make sure everybody gets some. But yeah, it's free. And I go, you can thank your principal, Rick Messick, Mr. Messick, because he's the guy who said it'd be, the kids have been great. Give them something to start the year off with. And it doesn't have to be popper chips. We do a candy cane drive. We do a toy drive, planting trees, the beach cleanup. We do the great shoreline cleanup. It's more like a walk. It's, old guys like me just get out there with the stick with the little nail on the end there and you pick up the garbage. Yeah. And you know what? It gets everybody out there doing something. But the crazy thing is, I remember the one time we did it and I think we had almost 300 kids show up. It was crazy. So they all show up and they're like, well, what do we do? I go, okay, well, since we don't have enough of these sticks and pick up things, I go take turns. So every half hour, the guys in the front, you got to go to the back and next 40 guys get the sticks and pick up the garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guys hold the garbage bags.
So what would you, what's the organization's future goals? Just to continue doing what you're doing? Or do you have like,
you know what? We need a base. So because we don't collect money, it's hard to get a warehouse space. And we've been using, basically beg, borrow, and steal from everybody their space. And
store.
Storefronts or freezer space. Like, Chris at Task Refrigeration, amazing guy. A Lineage, also amazing people, help us out. They're willing to hold things for us.
Mm-hmm.
If it's getting donated by a vendor, they'll say, hey, can we just leave it there and take out a little bit at a time? Mm-hmm. Super awesome because, where the hell are you going to store 10 pallets of whatever.
Frozen ground beef.
Or frozen. How about crab?
Yeah.
We had crab. You know what? And people are like, crab? And you know what? When you get crab, and it's real crab, not fake, not pollock, and it's a high-end product, and I guess they had changed the label or something was wrong with the label, so they couldn't sell it. Vendor couldn't sell it. We took it. And, seniors, Japanese seniors, all these different seniors groups got it. And they're like blown away. They're like, why are they throwing this out? This isn't even bad. So I think some of it was dated for the following year. And I said, well, there's a labeling issue, so it has to be disposed of. And I said, so I'm disposing of it right here. So you don't make your crab balls or whatever you want, casseroles. And most people are just shocked,
So if like the people that are listening to this or watching this, if they wanted to become involved, like how would they
contact us?
How would they contact you?
Well, we got
your organization.
We got the webpage up.
Okay.
Not so well maintained.
But it's a web page.
It's a web page.
And is there a contact?
There's a contact thing on there, but it doesn't work because the guy who was supposed to fix it didn't fix it. So your email will probably bounce back. But we're on it, and so maybe I can get you to fix it. Okay.
Well, maybe we can fix it. But where would they go to? What's the URL? What's the web?
QElions.com.
QElions.com. That's a start.
That's it. QElions.com. And you'll see the logo, and there's a letter up there from the year before, lists off all the members of the club, what we've done. And, and like I said, we do about 40 churches. We do schools. We do Knights of Columbus. So we help out with Knights of Columbus. Great group of guys who will actually drive things around for us. Who else? Cadets. We do the Army Depot in Newestminster whenever they, if we get like we always look after the the elderly, disabled, blind, infirm, and shut-ins first. So that's our first go-to. Then the kids, then and then everybody else. But there's always enough to go around. There's always enough to go around. Like if we get makeup, we get makeup.
You get makeup.
We get makeup. You know what? And I usually talk to the schools, hey, you know what? Why don't you guys take this, hand it out to the girls' clubs or for prom or whatever for their photo shoot. Let them have it. The nail polish, lipstick, whatever the hell it is. Something happens, it gets damaged, and we don't care. If the packaging's damaged, we don't care.
Matter.
And it's going to the kids that, that they're doing their prom or their photo shoot. They can't afford this stuff. And that stuff's expensive.
It is.
The other stuff is, the girls' hygiene products. And it sounds crazy, but people will go in and shoplift, but they'll rip open a package and take one or two out. Well, now you can't sell the package. If a product's damaged, can't sell it. It's been opened, throw it away. So we end up taking that and we'll take it to the high school and we'll get the counselor, whoever there, here you go, take it all. And that stuff's not cheap. That stuff's not cheap at all. Like when you look at some of these prices and you don't really know, like I'm a guy, what the hell do I know? So, you go into these stores and you look, oh, how much was that little thing there? And you're like, $15.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah. And makeup. Oh my God.
So let's in wrapping things up here.
Yeah.
The website that they could go to is
QElions.com.
QElions.com. Jesse, I would like to. I really appreciate you and everything that you do and that your organization does, and very. I'm honored that you came by here to talk to us at the Ship of Fools, where this certainly is where wit meets wisdom, because there's not a shortage of anything. We have an overabundance of a lot of things, and you are trying to be part of a solution, a greater solution. And what you and your organization are doing is fantastic, and I applaud you.
There's a shortage of the willing.
There's a shortage of the willing.
Margaret.
That's right.
Never doubt that a small group of people can make a difference.
Yeah,
make a difference.
Well,
and it's so true.
Yeah.
Like all the guys in our club. If you ever saw these guys, you'd never think. Even these guys didn't ever think that they would be doing this. They don't see themselves as philanthropists or community activists or food security guys, but that's exactly what they are.
And it is that feeling. And I encourage anyone that is listening to this. You're a stellar individual, and I thank you so much for coming, Jesse.
You're
appreciate you, buddy.
Out of here.
Thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
You may be asking yourself, what's any of this got to do with me? Absolutely nothing. Until next time.